I got revenge on the company that fired me. Hi, my name is Bill. My company did not treat me fairly, and I want to ask you, what would you do in my shoes? I have been part of the team literally from the beginning when we were just starting to hit the market. It was a time when we didn't have huge offices with panoramic windows, expensive company cars, and endless meetings where we discussed things that nobody really needed. On the contrary, we were a small group of like-minded people, united by one idea and ready to invest every minute of our time to turn it into something more. I remember how we huddled in a small room that served as an office, a conference room, and even a dining room. Sometimes we had to work almost around the clock because the tasks required immediate solutions and there were few resources. We lived this project, breathed it, thought about it day and night. Arguments, discussions, brainstorming sessions. All this happened right on the spot, amidst the chaos of papers, drawings, and notebooks. Each of us realized how important our shared success was and tried to do our part. We were not afraid of challenges, because we knew that together we could overcome any obstacle. It was then, in those first months and years, that the foundation for our future success was laid. We were literally building the company with our own hands, doing everything we could to be recognized in the market. As time passed, our efforts began to bear fruit. Our customer base grew, our revenues increased, and soon we could afford to move to a larger office. The cars got better, the working conditions more comfortable. However, despite all the changes, I continued to feel part of the same original team that had started the company. We had been through a lot together, and that spirit of unity remained unchanged. Back then, I truly believed that what we were doing together was not just business, but something much bigger. That we were creating something meaningful that would leave a mark on the industry. And maybe that's why what happened next was so unexpected and painful. When things went up, I really thought everything was going to be fine. We became a large company, we started to actively enter the international market. Our products were in great demand. Success seemed inevitable, and it seemed that nothing could stop it. The money was flowing, the plans for the future looked brilliant, and, to be honest, I couldn't imagine what could go wrong. Every morning I came to work with a sense of satisfaction, seeing our efforts bear fruit. We were expanding, opening new branches, signing major contracts. What more could you ask for? Work was a joy. Colleagues became a real team, and every day was filled with new challenges and opportunities. But one morning everything changed. I was unexpectedly summoned to the director's office. Usually such meetings were held in a friendly atmosphere, discussing current projects and plans for the future. But this time the atmosphere was different, tense and cold. The director sat at his desk, looking somewhere far away, as if avoiding my gaze. He was silent for a long time, and then he said a phrase that I remembered forever. "Things have changed. Bill, it's time for you to look for a new job. You've got a week." Those words came out of the blue. I froze, unable to believe what I was hearing. No explanation, no apology, just dry and unemotional. In his hands, he held an envelope with the dismissal papers. Silently, he held it out to me, avoiding eye contact. I took the envelope, feeling the world around me crumble. Inside it were papers confirming the end of my career at this company, but not a single word explaining the reasons for the decision. It was like a blow under the breath. 10 years of work, thousands of hours spent working for the company, and just like that, in an instant, it was over. I walked out of the office without saying a word, holding that unfortunate envelope in my hand. My head was spinning with bewilderment and anger. Why? What could be the reasons for such an act? These questions swirled in my head, giving me no rest. I was walking home, and every minute of the way seemed like an eternity. The world around me lost its colors. Everything seemed meaningless. How could they do this to me after everything I had done for this company? This question did not give me peace, forcing me to relive every moment of that meeting. I went home in a state of complete shock. 10 years of my life, and just like that, in one fell swoop, it was over. The ground seemed to have gone out from under my feet, and I didn't know how to go on living. My wife tried to console me, saying that everything would get better, that I should take a break and rest a little. My friends called, offered to meet, to distract me, but inside I was boiling with anger. The days dragged on slowly, like a viscous swamp. I kept going to work, but my thoughts kept coming back to the situation, to the people I had spent so much time with. Every night I fell asleep with a heavy heart and woke up with a feeling of emptiness. Everything I had invested my energy and strength in disappeared overnight, leaving only a bitter residue. A few days later, I received information that finally knocked the ground out from under my feet. It turned out that my dismissal was part of an overall cost-cutting plan. The company supposedly wanted to save money, even though they were actually doing great. What's more, they kept hiring new employees, expanding their staff. This news was the last straw. How is this even possible? Why save money on people who have been putting their heart and soul into a common cause for years? Why did they choose me, the person who stood at the origins of the company, helped it to grow and develop? The questions were swarming in my head, giving me no rest. I felt deceived, betrayed, abandoned to my fate. I decided I had to get revenge. Not right away, of course. At first, I just wanted to forget about it all, to start a new life. But the more I thought about the injustice, the stronger my resolve became. And so I began to devise a plan. The first thing I did was to contact my colleagues who had been informed of my imminent dismissal. Many of them were also unhappy with what was happening at the company, especially those who, like me, had worked there for a long time. We met, discussed the situation, and realized that we couldn't just leave it like that. We had to act. We started gathering information, analyzing weaknesses, looking for ways to do maximum damage. It wasn't easy, because we had to be careful not to attract attention. But the desire for revenge was so strong that we were willing to take the risk. We held several meetings, discussing possible courses of action. Some suggested sabotaging current projects. Others suggested leaking confidential information to competitors. There were many options, and each of us contributed our part. It was important not to rush, to think everything through to minimize the risks. In the end, we drew up a detailed plan. Some of us started collecting documents, some of us started spreading rumors inside the company, and some of us prepared the data leak. We acted together as a team, protecting ourselves and other colleagues who were in the same situation, and that gave us confidence. Having gathered enough information, we started to execute our plan. At first in small steps to test the reaction of the management. Then we moved on to more serious measures. We knew we were taking a risk, but our sense of fairness and desire to restore balance outweighed our fear. First, we started sabotaging ongoing projects. Small mistakes here, flaws there, nothing critical, but enough to slow down the work. For example, someone deliberately sent incorrect data to clients. Someone delayed the deadlines of tasks, creating the appearance of a flurry of activity, but actually doing nothing. We tried to act discreetly so as not to attract attention, but at the same time to cause tangible damage. Then we got more serious. We started leaking information to competitors. Some of us gave them data about new products. Some of us told them about the company's strategic plans. We shared production secrets. We gave commercial proposals that were supposed to remain strictly confidential. All this time, I was closely following the news about the company and saw how it was beginning to lose ground in the market. The competitors, having obtained valuable information, used it against us. They were stealing contracts, bringing similar products to market faster than we were able to finalize our own. It was a real blow to the company's reputation. Customers began to doubt the reliability of our cooperation, and partners considered ending the relationship. All the while, we continued to operate covertly. We knew that management was trying to find out who was behind these problems, but our security measures allowed us to remain undetected. We carefully hid traces of our activities, erased files, encrypted correspondence. Each of us realized that if we were caught, the consequences would be serious, but the desire for revenge was stronger than fear. Over time, the results of our work became visible to the naked eye. The company's sales began to fall. Its reputation began to deteriorate. Management was scrambling for solutions, conducting internal investigations, but all in vain. We were too cautious, and all trails led nowhere. A few months passed, and the company started losing customers. Sales dropped, reputation suffered. Management panicked, and mass layoffs began. People who had been valued before were now on the street. And I watched it all with a smile, knowing that our revenge had paid off. But the best part came later. The competitors we were helping offered me a job. Turns out they appreciated my knowledge and experience. Now I work for the same industry, but in a different company. And you know what? I love it. They treat me with respect, pay me a decent salary, and value my contribution. My new job has been a real eye-opener. Colleagues are friendly and willing to help in any situation. The managers listen to my opinion and take my suggestions into account. I feel like an important part of the team, and this gives me strength and motivation. Every day I come to work with pleasure, knowing that I am doing something useful and necessary. In addition, I see my former company continuing to lose ground. News about it is less and less positive, and employees continue to leave. This gives me satisfaction because I know I played a part in that. Of course, there are times when I think back to the old days when we were just starting out, when everything was new and exciting. But the past remains the past, and there is no point in going back there. Now I have the opportunity to build my future the way I want. My new job gives me confidence in the future, and the respect of my colleagues and recognition of my merits make every working day pleasant and productive. Sometimes I meet former coworkers and they are surprised at how quickly I found a new job and how well I adapted to the new environment. I smile and say it all worked itself out. But inside I know it's the result of a lot of thought, planning, and courageous decisions. Life goes on, and it's important to be able to adapt to change by learning from past experiences. Now I look forward to the future with optimism. I am sure that new challenges and opportunities are ahead of me. The main thing is not to be afraid to take risks and believe in yourself. After all, as my example shows, even the most difficult situations can be turned in your favor. Sometimes, however, I wonder if it was worth it. Revenge is always a risk, and I realize that I could have lost a lot. But honestly, I don't regret anything. They created this situation and I just took the opportunity. Now I have a new life, new perspectives, and I am glad that I was able to come out of this story a winner.